Our boy left the shop and began to walk around the area. At the same time, a crowd started heading toward the shop, as they had heard that something big was happening. People took out their cameras to take pictures and began running toward the shop. Lu Sheng's attention was fixed on them and his eyes widened with joy, making a smile appear on his face. His eyes began to shine with tranquility since he had calmed down. Lu Sheng used his power and the disguise he was wearing began to disappear, transforming into energy. With a gaze full of joy, Lu Sheng did not look back. He was satisfied. After all, Milton was Chao Chiu's brother and he couldn't kill him, but playing a little trick on him had been an acceptable option. Lu Sheng took out his phone, turned it on and started browsing through it. A surprised smile appeared on his face, as he couldn't believe that the speed at which news spread in this place was more than twice as fast as on the blue planet. According to the news, Milton, the Count's son, was cruel and inhumane and had very particular tastes, so women were warned to protect their little pigs well. Our boy's eyes began to shine with joy. He couldn't help but feel satisfied upon noticing that the rumors had already spread, making it impossible for Milton to now clear his name. For him, this kind of immediate revenge provided a much greater relief than what he would have obtained by just giving him a beating. Lu Sheng put his arms behind his head and began to whistle, knowing that today was a good day. After a few days, Lu Sheng went to Lan's spaceship. He and Lan embarked on the journey to the Celestial Throne Academy. With a calm gaze, Lan extended his hand and explained to our boy that the Celestial Academy was the most prestigious institution in each star sector, and only admitted martial geniuses with the greatest talent. Once recruited, they could enjoy the best resources, benefits, and inheritances of the entire sector. Lu Sheng crossed his arms and remained listening in silence with a curious expression. Lan began imagining several powerful warriors, revealing that each student was treated like a stellar noble with status comparable to that of a viscount, since even the weakest of its graduates reached at least level 11, and not just any level 11. With a confused gaze, Lu Sheng asked Lan if he had managed to enter the Celestial Academy. Upon hearing this, Lan's attention focused on our boy. He began to ponder in silence with a serene expression. Then, with a smile, he shook his head, admitting that his talent had not been outstanding enough to be admitted. Instead, the current head of law, Lord Andre, had indeed graduated from the Celestial Academy, and, at barely 5,000 years old, was already a level 12 warrior. He began pointing at our boy with his finger, making it clear that with his talent, passing the entrance exam would be no problem at all. If he stood out, he would even have the opportunity to go to the main headquarters of the Celestial Academy on the main star of the Tianxi system. Lu Sheng's eyes widened in surprise. He couldn't believe that Lan had so much confidence in him. While Lan's eyes were shining with seriousness, he mentioned that this was the true place where the prodigies of the cosmos gathered and the elites of countless races fought. There, common talents were crushed without a trace, making the Yamuxing sector seem, by comparison, pitifully small and insignificant. Lu Sheng extended his hands, feeling somewhat confused. It seemed incredible to him that the sector was considered small since he couldn't even afford to buy a spaceship to move within it. Lan couldn't help but feel somewhat surprised. Then, he began to stare at our boy, and, showing two fingers, revealed that the Celestial Academy originally only recruited students once every 1,000 years. The last time had been 300 years ago, and following tradition, he would have to wait another 700. Lu Sheng remained listening to Lan's explanation in silence. With a cheerful smile, Lan also added that they had been lucky. An important person had appeared who requested to use the Celestial Academy's stellar lineage scheme to evaluate talent, and they would take advantage of this influence to take the test together. As long as our boy met the standard, he could be exceptionally admitted. Our boy's eyes widened in surprise. He couldn't believe that the normal wait was 700 years, and he wondered what kind of important person would have the authority to change this. Lan began imagining a powerful warrior with orange hair, mentioning that Lan Che, son of Space Marquis Lano, belonged to a family of level 13 warriors whose fame resonated across 10 stellar sectors. His eyes began to shine with seriousness when he revealed that the Lano family had its origins in the Yamu sector and had been the cradle of the most outstanding talents and warriors for more than 50,000 years. Marquis Lano was always faithful to his roots. His descendants always returned to the Yamu sector to participate in aptitude tests. His second son, Lan Che, had already demonstrated in previous tests that he possessed an extraordinary life condition of 5-star moonlight level, and it was expected that this time he would achieve a new breakthrough to reach the Yaori level. Lu Sheng did not lose his composure and, with a curious expression, asked if the extraordinary life condition was not fixed but could continuously improve. With a sincere tone, Lan admitted that although it was very difficult, it was not impossible. A level 13 warrior, if determined, could ensure that his descendants possessed physical talent comparable to his own, for example, by making all his offspring neo-humans with modified genomes. Lu Sheng put his hand under his chin and began to ponder in silence. The idea that even genomes could be modified seemed to him a complete insolence. Lan closed his eyes and mentioned that, in the end, this was only an imitation, and an artificial product, capable of reaching 70%. His eyes began to shine with confidence when he made it clear that reaching even half was already something extraordinary. He explained that the extraordinary life condition was the most wonderful and mysterious existence in this universe, and that each specimen with an innate condition, like the one our boy possessed, was an extremely valuable base material. Lu Sheng remained silent and couldn't help but feel somewhat confused. Lan extended his hand and bet that, when the test was over, countless stellar nobles would be eager to marry their daughters to him, instantly making him the most sought-after son-in-law in this star sector. Lu Sheng began to touch his head and with a forced smile started waving his hand, jokingly telling Lan that if he had a daughter, for their friendship's sake, he might even consider it. Upon hearing this, Lan couldn't help clenching his fists, and his eyes began to shine with excitement. And with a smile, he mentioned that he had plenty of descendants. Our boy panicked, realizing that he had messed up and that apparently aliens didn't understand what a polite rejection meant. With a nervous smile, Lu Sheng began to wave his hands in denial, explaining that it was a joke and revealed that he already had a wife. While Lan's eyes were shining, with a smile he questioned how for someone of his level 1 spouse could be enough. Lu Sheng came out of his trance and felt somewhat confused. Lan mentioned that a powerful man should be surrounded by beauties everywhere. He only had to leave his seed and then leave, as this was a blessing for them. Lu Sheng began to imagine himself sitting on a throne and surrounded by women. This thought made him turn red like a tomato. He knew that if he did something like that, his wife would not forgive him. Lan began to show her tablet and asked Lu Sheng if he knew that person. Lu Sheng came out of his thoughts and his attention focused on it, leaving him somewhat curious. The tablet had a wanted poster with the disguise that Lu Sheng used to give Milton what he deserved. Lu Sheng couldn't help but go into shock, while Lan watched him in silence. Lu Sheng's eyes began to shine with seriousness. Internally he denied knowing that man, feeling relieved for having used his spiritual power to alter his appearance, even though the result had been too ugly. With a gaze full of contempt, Lan revealed that this person was being sought by the Sea's family, who had been after him for some time. It was said that he had made Milton look ridiculous. Lu Sheng began to pretend and mention that Guy had it well deserved, stating that if it weren't for the connection he had with Milton's sister, he himself would have beaten him until his intestines came out. Lan couldn't help but smile and with a cheerful gaze asked if Lu Sheng also had problems with that guy. However, he immediately downplayed the matter and added with a laugh that, maybe, once his extraordinary physique was confirmed, the Shi's family themselves would end up begging him to marry their daughter. Lan and Lu Sheng began to walk through the spaceship. Lan approached the ship's window, put his arms behind his back and with a smile mentioned that they had already arrived and asked our boy to look at the gate of the firmament. Lu Sheng approached and saw a gigantic door. Lan mentioned that it was really impressive, explaining that when the Yamu Star sector fell due to the invasion of dimensional beasts, this door became their last battlefield. With a curious gaze, Lu Sheng turned around and asked what that giant disc that looked like a sundial was. Once the spaceship passed by it, Lan explained that it was the Disc of Destiny, and it served to evaluate lineage and the level of extraordinary physique. They began to observe attentively, and Lan revealed that, according to what was said, when a truly immortal lineage descended, all the pearls on the disc would light up with a glow that would make the stars tremble, and an absolutely incredible phenomenon would occur. While Lu Sheng's eyes were shining with confusion, he asked what kind of phenomenon it would be. Lan closed his eyes and admitted that no one knew. From the creation of the Yamu Star sector until that moment, the stellar disc of destiny had never been fully lit. Even the most powerful warriors had barely managed to illuminate less than half. A while later, the ship landed. After getting off it, the two arrived in front of the gigantic Stargate. Lan climbed the stairs, and with a serene gaze, Lu Sheng began to follow him. In front of them was an old man holding a magic staff. With a kind smile, Lan extended his hand and mentioned that he was the director of the Supreme Celestial Institute of the Yamu Star sector, Lord Mo Yun, one of the few truly powerful beings in the entire sector. Shang began to observe the old man carefully, realizing that he emitted the same aura as Sheriff's. He was at least level 12, a true first-class warrior, and must be primarily responsible for the evaluation. At that moment, another spaceship prepared to land. Everyone's attention was fixed on it, leaving them somewhat confused. Lan's eyes began to shine with confidence, and a smile spread across his face upon noticing that he had arrived. Shang began to observe the ship in silence, not knowing what was happening. Two powerful warriors descended from the ship and landed in front of them. One of them had orange hair. It was Langa. With a serene gaze, he began to walk toward Shang and the others while being escorted by his men. Langa placed his hand over his chest, closed his eyes, and with a smile bowed his head before Mo Yun as a sign of respect, conveying greetings on behalf of his father. Shang's attention was fixed on him and his eyes filled with tranquility. Upon noticing his dominant and arrogant attitude, he understood that this man was also a level 12 warrior, whose power was not less than that of the director. This showed him that the family of the Stellar Marquis possessed a truly impressive foundation by being able to afford an escort of such caliber. Mo Yun began stroking his beard and, after thanking Marquis Lano for his consideration, revealed that in reality, the opening of the Stellar Disc of Destiny on this occasion was not only because of his presence. While Lan's eyes were shining with joy, he extended his hand and with a smile questioned whether there was any warrior among those present who deserved his attention. Mo Yun began to gaze toward the ground and decided to start first. Then he grabbed his magic staff tightly, used his power, and the Stellar Disc of Destiny began to open. Everyone's attention was fixed on it, and Mo Yun announced that they had arrived at an exceptional moment. The aptitude evaluation with the Stellar Disc of Destiny, which only occurred once every 1,000 years, officially began, and he urged everyone to come closer without wasting time. Mo Yun began to stroke his beard and could not help but smile, as he felt great curiosity about the genius that the Chief of Execution spoke of, and about what kind of surprise they might bring him. Shang's eyes began to shine with determination, and he remained calm. This is the end of the video. If you guys want to see the next part, then don't forget to subscribe and like the video.